My name is Eleanor. I'm 78 years old. I never thought I'd end my life in a nursing home, surrounded by strangers, waiting for someone else to decide when I eat, sleep, or speak. If you think this story isn't about you, that's exactly why you need to hear it. Don't click away. Listen until the end, because the choices that put me here are the same ones most people are making right now. This is how I ended up in a nursing home at 78. I'm telling you this from a small room with beige walls and a window that doesn't open more than a few inches. Outside, there's a tree I've memorized. Every branch, every seasonal change. That tree knows me better than most people do now. I don't expect sympathy. I'm not angry anymore. I just want to be honest, because honesty feels lighter than silence when you're running out of time. People think you wake up one day and suddenly your life is gone, that you make one terrible mistake and everything collapses. But that's not how it happened. Not for me, not for most of us here. It happened slowly. So slowly, I didn't notice it happening at all. When I was young, I thought I had forever. I didn't say that out loud, of course, but I lived like it was true. I delayed things, conversations, apologies, visits. I assumed life would wait for me to catch up. It never does. I grew up learning how to be responsible. That was the highest compliment in my house. If you were responsible, you were good. If you were good, you were safe. I carried that belief into adulthood like a rule book. I married in my early 20s. He wasn't a bad man. He worked hard. I worked hard too, just in different ways. We built a life that looked solid from the outside. A home, children, schedules, everything in its place. I believed love was something you proved by holding everything together. So I stayed busy. Busy raising children. Busy keeping the house running. Busy making sure nothing fell apart. I didn't realize I was also staying distant. There were moments I still see clearly. My daughter standing in the doorway, wanting to talk, and me saying, "Just a minute." My son asking me to watch him do something small, and me half listening while thinking about dinner. Those moments didn't feel important then. They felt replaceable. I told myself I'd make it up later. Later became years. As my children grew older, they needed me less. I encouraged that. Independence felt like success. When they moved out, I told myself I was proud. And I was. But I didn't admit how quiet the house felt afterward. My marriage didn't explode. It faded. Two people sharing space without sharing much else. We stopped arguing because we stopped expecting anything. When it ended, it felt like a practical decision. No drama. just an understanding that we were done. I told myself this was freedom. What it really was emptiness I didn't know how to sit with. So I filled it. Work, errands, television noise, small routines that made the days pass without asking anything from me emotionally. I kept in touch with friends, but loosely. We all assumed we'd have time later to reconnect properly. We were wrong. People drift away quietly. They don't announce it. One missed call, one postponed lunch, one "we should get together soon" that never happens. And then suddenly, years have passed. I didn't notice how small my world was becoming. In my 60s, my body started changing. Nothing dramatic, just little reminders. Slower movements, more caution. I ignored them. Everyone ages. I was still capable, still living alone, still telling myself I was fine. Then my sister died. She was younger than me, healthy, or so we thought. One stroke, one phone call, one moment where the future I assumed was guaranteed suddenly felt fragile. I remember sitting alone that night, realizing how many things I'd left unsaid to her, how many visits I'd postponed, how many times I'd assumed we had more time. That was the first crack. I promised myself I'd do better, reach out more, be present. But promises are easy when you don't change your habits. Life kept moving. I kept postponing. The fall happened on an ordinary day. I slipped in my bathroom. It wasn't dramatic. No ambulance lights. Just pain. Sharp, unforgiving pain that made it hard to breathe. I lay there longer than I should have, staring at the ceiling, realizing how alone I really was. Recovery took time, more time than I expected. Hospital visits, physical therapy, concerned looks from my children. They spoke softly to me, like I was fragile. That was new, being fragile. The nursing home was supposed to be temporary, just until I got stronger, just until things stabilized. I packed light, left my home untouched, assuming I'd return. I never did. Temporary has a way of becoming permanent when your strength doesn't come back the way it used to. Living here changes you. You lose small freedoms first. When you eat, when you sleep, when you shower. Then you lose larger ones: privacy, choice, independence. People are kind here, but kindness isn't the same as connection. Visitors promise to come more often than they do, not because they don't care, because life pulls them elsewhere. I understand that better than anyone. I see myself in their excuses. That's the hardest part. I don't blame my children. I taught them how to live this way, busy, forward-facing, always assuming there would be time later. Now later has arrived for me, and it looks like this. There are things I can never fix. Relationships that settled into distance. Words that can no longer be said. A version of myself that might have chosen differently if I'd understood the cost of delay. I don't regret working hard. I regret postponing closeness. I regret believing presence could wait. If you're listening to this, I'm not asking you to change your life overnight. I'm not here to instruct or warn loudly. I just want you to notice something. Pay attention to what you're delaying. The conversations you keep pushing back. The people you assume will always be there. The moments you think are too small to matter. They add up. You don't end up in a nursing home because you failed. You end up here because life slowly taught you to prioritize everything except being present. And one day, there's no time left to reorder your priorities. I've made peace with where I am, mostly. Acceptance comes easier when fighting no longer changes anything. My days are quiet, predictable, limited. I watch that tree outside my window. I listen to footsteps in the hallway. I remember. That's what's left now, memory. If this story stayed with you even a little, that's enough. You don't owe me anything. Just don't assume time is patient. It isn't. My name is Elena. I'm 78 years old. And this is how my life slowly, quietly brought me here.